Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's top of the hour. I'm Tonya, and this is Comeback Yoga. Comeback Yoga is a nonprofit organization that serves veterans, active duty military, and support team wherever they are in the world or in the heart or in their body. This is a level 1 strength and flexibility class. Today we'll be doing some floor work, maybe just a little bit of standing work. And always remember to do what you can, and you can always stop, just observe, revisit, because this class is uploaded later, so you can watch it again and pick it up where you left off or start over again. You will need a pillow. It could be from your bed, or if you have a bed or a pillow from your sofa. And then if you have a yoga block, one of those as well. If you don't have a yoga block, you could use like a shoe box, or maybe even a towel or another pillow, or a sturdy box of sorts. Okay. We're not going to be using it for balance today. We're going to be using it for some of our floor work. Okay. So go ahead and find a comfortable position. It could be lying down, could be seated, could be on a chair, on a cushion, or on that pillow. And we'll just take a few minutes just to kind of gather our energy before we get started in our physical practice today. And then we'll be moving into guided meditation at the end as well. So just eyes can be open, they could be closed, finding any position that feels safe and comfortable. And just start to notice your breath. Notice how your body moves with your breath. And can kind of move a little bit forward and back or side to side to kind of find that center of gravity. And notice how there might be some shifting in the head as well as you find that center. And sometimes our center has been so off center or off kilter for number of years or days or hours that it can be challenging or uncertain to find that center just in our body, that plumb line in our body. So we think about the plumb line, basically from the top of the head down through the center of the body, down to the tailbone or the sit bones. And there's a length that comes with this. We can also come from the core, as we were just discussing in the reading. So coming from the core to kind of feel from the middle, both vertical middle and horizontal middle. Feeling from that core a sense of expansion in all dimensions. So an expansion of height and space and length, lift, and an expansion outward. All dimensions, fronts, sides, and back. Just a regular breath as you find the center from this core. And there's no right or wrong. It's a practice of investigation, of curiosity, of witness awareness, and sensing if there's any holding, any tension. So as Iyengar also describes, there is ease, or there is sort of a relaxed state in the effort that comes with finding that center. So the breath is expanding outward, upward, front, back, sides, up and down. And as the breath leaves the body, as you exhale, there is sort of this returning to that core. So expanding from the core out and returning to the core. So we work from the periphery to the core, and then the core to the periphery. So take a few more moments to sense that core. And again, don't worry if you can't find it today. It's a practice. And take a couple more breaths. From core to periphery and periphery to core. Not only breath, but also awareness. Awareness of the core inside to the awareness to the external, to this, even to the skin, and even to your surroundings. And we'll take a couple more breaths here. All right, and then go ahead and lift the gaze if your eyes were closed. And we'll press the palms together in front of the chest. And you can change your position if you're seated, if you'd like to adjust a little bit, because that was a little bit long. Maybe it was sitting in one position. And I'm going to press the heels of the hands together and the fingertips. So there's a little space at the center of the hands. So as you press those palms together, or not the palms, but the heel of the hand and the fingertips, start to engage through the chest, through the back as you sit up tall. Feel the length of your body and start to feel a little bit of strength. You don't have to do a lot. You can do 1% or you can do 100%. Whatever you feel like you could do today. Just hold here for 3 more breaths. Try to breathe naturally as you feel the shoulders lower slightly. 1 more breath. Good. And then release that. Bring the fingertips out to the side onto the floor or onto the chair next to you. And just maybe the peace fingers or whatever fingers might touch. You're going to push gently into the floor. And as you push gently into the floor, again, start to feel a little bit more lift. With your next inhale, you're going to bring one arm up overhead, reaching it up, up, up from the center, up to the ceiling. And then exhale over to the side. From your core, you're extending. So not from the shoulder, but you're extending from the core to reach. A little different that way, right? Inhale, reach from the core up, and then exhale, lower down. All right, second side. Inhale, arm lifts. And the tendency is, again, that maybe the shoulder's going to lift with it. It will lift somewhat, but once you really think about lifting from your core, as you exhale, you're reaching up from the core all the way to the outer layer of your body. Good. And then exhale, lower it down. Bringing the hands on the lap and just gently tuck the chin for 3 breaths. All right, taking the gaze forward again. Bring the arms up overhead. Inhale. And Exhale before you turn. We're going to turn, but exhale, turning from that core, and then lower the arms down. They may come down, one in front, one in back, or it might not be, maybe one's on the side. So expanding from the core, exhaling to turn from the core to the periphery, to the outer layer of your body. Good. And then inhale, come back to center. Exhaling first, and then turning from the core to the periphery. That's it. Breathing naturally from the core to the periphery. Good. Inhale, come back up through center, and exhale, release the arms, hands down. Good. Okay, we're going to come down now onto our hands and knees, and you want to have that pillow close by. So pushing down into the floor, connecting. Knees are under the hips. If you want to place those knees on your pillow or on other padding, you can. So pushing down from the core, exhale, and then just lift the upper back slightly. And with your next inhale, look forward and release the upper back slightly. Exhaling, lifting the middle back. And inhaling, lower the middle back. Exhaling, rounding the whole length of the spine. Focusing on the navel for just a moment. And then inhaling to lengthen, look forward, letting the navel come towards the ground. 2 more times. Exhaling, navel comes up towards the spine, pushing into the mat. Inhaling, navel comes down towards the floor. And last one. Exhaling, pushing into floor, and coming to neutral. Good. And then sink those hips back into the pose of a child. If you'd like to, you could also have your pillow on your lap, or it could be behind the knees. We'll take 3 more breaths here, extending maybe through the arms or resting the head on the back of the hands. If the knees are uncomfortable here, you can elevate the hips more. Sometimes having a little extra padding behind the knees can be helpful, or under the feet. I'll give you a couple of more breaths to find a position that's just right for you. All right, inhale, come forward and grab your pillow. You're going to place it underneath your torso here, and then come down onto the pillow. So your torso will be slightly elevated here. You're going to bring the arms outside of the pillow, depending on how wide your pillow is, or outside of the shoulders somewhere. So push down into those forearms, the shoulders just over the elbows, and the legs can be about hip distance, or whatever's comfortable on your legs. You're going to push down gently, engaging the hands, pressing down to the floor slightly. And you'll feel your chest start to lift just by simple movement from there. And then exhale, come back down, resting your torso on the pillow. Push down again, inhale, lifting, keeping your lower body heavy. Exhale and lower down. 2 more times. Push down, lift up, and exhale, lower down. 1 more time. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, come down. Now, your head should be over the front of the pillow so that you can rest your head down and have space for your nose to breathe. Resting the head either on the floor or on the hands. And we're gonna take the arms out wide with the palms facing down. With your next inhale, you're gonna lift the chest, elbows lift about the same height as the shoulders. And exhale, lower down, maybe all the way to the floor or just to the pillow height. 2 more. Press down to lift. From the center, we're rising and lengthening. Exhale and lower down. 1 more time. From the core, rise to the periphery. Exhale from the core and then lower down, touching the surface at the periphery. And then resting your head again on the back of the hands. All right, and then press yourself up to tabletop again. And walk the knees forward. And have that pillow on the lap again, or behind the knees for child's pose. Sinking the hips down and back. Let's take a few more breaths there. Last breath. We'll come up to all fours again. You can move your pillow off to the side unless you want to be using it under the knees. We're going to step the right leg forward and bring it kind of under the hip there, or under the knee. And go ahead and lift up, coming up onto the front thigh. And again, maybe patting the knee here if you like. We'll push down and start to feel how that activates the core. With your next inhale, bring one or both arms up overhead. So from your core here, radiate or stretch up, and then exhale over towards the right, little side bend here. Inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, your hand comes down to the ground. Here you can use maybe one of your props, your block, and straighten the right leg. So what we're going to do here now is going to look forward, kind of lengthen the spine. Exhale and fold over your leg. You don't have to go far. From your core, inhale and lengthen all the way to the outer shell of your body. Exhale and release forward. 2 more times. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale to come forward. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Good. And coming into that lunge again. And tucking your back toes under, lift your knee for a long lunge. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then push off the back foot and come into a forward fold. Hands can be touching the floor. You can use that prop you like here for your forward fold. And sense any asymmetry in the body, maybe, especially after doing one side. There likely is some asymmetry. And let's just take 2 more breaths here, bending those knees as you need, releasing the head as you need. And then placing the hands back down to the floor, and step your right leg back this time and lower that right knee down to the floor. Again, sensitive knees, padded here there. And then come up onto the knee. And you can even consider changing the position of the back foot. For me, if I point my foot back, there's less pressure on my actual knee. So then it's more along the shin, the weight's evenly distributed. All right, it takes a little bit more effort, but maybe. All right, so as you push down onto that front thigh, start to feel, again, a little engagement in the core. Take one or both arms up, reach up to those fingertips. On your exhalation, reach over to the side, towards your front leg. Good. And then inhale, rise up, pressing down, and exhale, release the arm down. Okay, we're going to move the hip back, and you might stay upright like this, or you might tip forward, bringing your hands to your prop or to the floor. We're going to take 5 of those dynamic breaths here. So inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, lengthen, and come forward. It may only be little, maybe subtle movements. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, feel the core engage as you reach long. 2 more. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale from the core. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Bending that front knee. And you can use the hand, lift up the back knee. Maybe your hands on that prop if you're using a prop. Or the hands can be down to the floor. Push off your back foot and come into a forward fold using maybe the prop. Adjusting your stance here as you like. Maybe bending the knees, maybe resting your torso onto your lap and give you a little bit more stability, comfort, maybe releasing any low back tension there. All right, and bring your hands onto your lap as you look forward. We're going to rise all the way up to stand and take a moment to kind of catch your breath here. Reorient, catch your breath and adjust to your surroundings out we're standing. Let's just take a couple more breaths here. Kind of feeling the feet. You can rock forward and back on those feet. Maybe even a little side to side on those feet. Just sensing kind of the ankles there. And see if you might have to look down at your feet, lift the toes, and be about creating some space between the toes, developing yogi toes, okay? And as you create the space between the toes, your hands might work as well. And then keep that space between the toes and lower the toes back down. Yeah, okay. Just a tiny little gripping of the mat, just a tiny bit, and then lift the heels a tiny bit, maybe a lot, and then lower back down. Good. Let's lift the toes again, and keep them nice and wide, and then lower back down. Inhale now, bring your arms up, but keep the toes lowered, kind of gripping the mat, reach up. So from your core, exhale and extend through the arms. You can look forward if that's better on your neck. You can look down, or you can look up. So pressing down into the feet, reach up through the arms, feel that extension. Exhale, one more time here. And then inhale, reach up. And exhale, bend the knees and fold forward, touching down to your block or your prop. Step your left leg back into a lunge. Wiggle it back. And if you have your prop close by, have your hand on the floor, You're going to twist. So turning your right arm towards that right leg to reach up. Exhale from your core. Reach out through to the periphery. Maybe sensing even the very middle finger, the skin, the pores. And then release the hand down. Look forward. Step that back foot forward. Coming back into your fold. Sensing the breath. Sensing if your center, where your center is. All right. Step your right leg back. It's my left, by the way. All right. Right hand to the floor or to your prop. Long through the spine, long through your leg, and then twist. That's it. So really expanding, reaching out through those fingers. But we stay centered at the core, expanding from the core to the periphery. Good. And take it down. Nice work. Step back to plank pose. Your knees can be down or not. And then come all the way down to your stomach. Bring the hands behind the shoulders. Push into the fingertips and lengthen. Lengthen, lengthen from the hips. Lengthen up. Exhale, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen as you lower. 2 more. Inhale to lengthen. Lengthen from the tippy toes to the very top of your head. Exhale and come down. 1 more time. And pressing those hips up. And walk your knees just under the hips for a tabletop position. Round your spine. Look forward as you inhale. Exhale, round. And last one, inhale. And exhale. Moving the hips back towards the heels. Again, maybe either placing that pillow on the lap, behind the knees, or sitting on a pillow, or none of the above. Try one if you haven't. Just explore different ways that we can use things from home to provide the most comfort for our bodies. Take 3 more breaths here. Child's pose may not be comfortable. So if you're putting or you're feeling like it's a strenuous position, take note of that and you can come onto your back. That's an option. 2 more breaths here. And rise on up. Move your pillow or off to the side for a moment. We will be using it again in a second here. So, actually, I'll turn this way. You're going to have your block nearby, if you're using a block, and we're going to take our pillow behind us. Okay? And we're going to use it for our torso here. You want to make sure that your head is supported as well. So I'm going to have the block, like maybe not quite to the very end of the mat, but close enough. And we're going to come down onto our back. Again, let's see that the head is supported. And then you're going to take 1 foot on the block. Okay? So it doesn't matter which foot, 1 foot on the block. And then the other leg, the ankle's going to come onto the knee for figure 4. Now, that might feel, just be curious with it and see how it feels. If you want more, you could bring your knees in towards the chest. So if the pillow is too high, because I don't know how thick your pillow is, if you feel like you're rolling and falling off of the pillow, then you can certainly move it to the side for now. We're going to draw the knee in or leave it to the block and just take a few more deep breaths here. And now we're going to straighten the bottom leg and bring it onto the block. Here, I like to push it a little bit further away so that it ends up more at my calf if you're using a block. If you're not using a block, you could have, again, another pillar or something. So this is a reverse pigeon, basically. So hold on to your left or your top ankle, your calf, or whatever is accessible, okay? For some of you, your knee may come down nice and wide, or it may stay up high. So it really depends on your body's architecture and where you're feeling today. Some of you might even be able to hook the hand or the forearm underneath and come into a little bit more of an upright, more of an intense reverse pigeon. You still want to have that foot or that leg elevated. Okay. So I'm going to take just a few more breaths here. Breathing into any sensation. One more breath. And then release your top leg. I'm going to straighten it now towards the ceiling. Your bottom leg still slightly elevated. Leg stretches up. You can hold on to the calf, the back of the leg, the ankle, or the foot. Your bottom foot could also come up onto the block. That can be very supportive as well, so that we're not straining. Remember, looking for ease in the posture. Extension from the core to the periphery with smooth and regular sensation, ideally. There's a lot of shaking. See if you can maybe back out of the posture for 2 more breaths. All right, and then bring your knee in back into your chest and re-extend your bottom leg. All right, place both feet down onto the floor. We're going to switch sides here in a moment. So you might move your prop a little bit off to one side. And then we're going to place the other foot on the prop and ankle on that knee. And that might be a good stopping place or a good place to start. Let's just take a couple more breaths here. You might bring the knee in closer to the chest. And this may be where you stay. The next option is that foot comes back to the block, or it goes straight down onto the block. And again, maybe just work with a little bit of movement, a little bit of play in the top leg. Some of you might have access to bring the arm under and lift up, just to kind of explore, get playful. Take 3 more breaths here, even noticing that bottom leg. All right, and then placing the bottom foot back on the floor or on your prop and extending the top leg towards the ceiling. If it's available, extend the bottom leg back onto the prop or the floor. Finding that ease. Extending from your core to the outer layers. Gather that knee back into your chest. And now we're going to place both of our feet onto the block for butterfly. So the soles of the feet together and the knees out wide. You could have the block on the tall side or the low side, as long as there's stability. The tall side's not as stable. And then just either wrap your arms around your torso, grab maybe opposite shoulders. And stay here for 3 more deep, soothing, nourishing breaths. And unwind your arms. Place your feet down to the floor and just let the knees fall together. And if you want to re-wrap the arms, taking the other elbow on top, grabbing those opposite shoulders. Unwind the arms, straighten them out to the sides into a T position or a goalpost. Tracking sensation from your heart out to the palms, out to the fingers. Take 3 more breaths here from the heart out to the layers of the skin, to the pores, to the palm, to the fingers. Deep sensing, deep awareness from your inside to your outside. One more breath. And now we're going to roll off onto one side, coming off of the pillow. You can move it to just under the head if you like. And might need to move that block off to the side. So coming onto your side where the legs are stacked, knees are bent, arms out in front of you. Now we're going to extend the top leg out in front. So we can't really see my whole leg there, but you can think about pressing the pinky toe down to the floor, if that's allowed in the ankle. Now we're going to straighten the bottom leg down, and it might go more or less straight in line with the mat. I'm going to take the top arm now and slide it along the bottom arm. And then keep sliding it across the upper chest and open out into a twist. So from your core, out to the fingertips, out to the toes. Take 3 more breaths. And then reaching that top arm up overhead and coming back onto your side. Bring your knees together and pause. We'll roll now onto our back and coming now onto the other side. I'm gonna roll up and come onto my other side so I can still face the screen. So stacking the hips, stacking those knees, stacking the shoulders. And now that top arm, actually, so we start with the top leg, bring it out in front and work towards the pinky edge. And then send the bottom leg long. Good. All right. With your next inhale, slide the bottom of the top hand on the bottom arm and open up into a twist. We'll take 3, 4 more breaths here. And then coming on back to your side and bringing the knees together once again. And rolling now onto your back. You can keep the pillow under your head, or if you like a little bit more support for under the knees, you can place it there. We'll bring the knees in for just one last pose here. Just a little bit of movement maybe, or just finding stillness. Just sensing lengthening. And if you're ready for our final meditation now, you can just place the feet down, stay on your back, come to sit. Any other movements that call to you, please take those. And once you have found your final relaxation posture for meditation, your eyes can be closed or they can be open. And today's meditation will again be kind of expanding the idea or the awareness of the core to periphery. So as you sense the breath coming into your body, as you inhale, notice the expansion from the inside. Notice how the ribs move, how your skin moves. And as you exhale, feel that space inside of you now get narrower. Expanding with the inhale and kind of narrowing, but not constricting on the exhale. Just really more of a constriction, I guess, expansion, contraction kind of idea. And not only noticing that how your insides move, but also how the outer layers move and how your outer layers are moving into the space around you and then moving away from the space around you. So there's this idea as we are moving cellularly, expanding into the space around us, that those cells expanding and moving into and becoming part of, in a way, of the space around us. And as we exhale, we're moving away from those spaces. So just kind of take this idea of sort of like really, creation and destruction or expansion, creating new neural pathways in our body and our brain. We feel the space above, below, and around. And yet we feel the density, the earth above, below, and around. I'll give you maybe 3 more breaths here just to sense that complete awareness of your body moving from periphery to core, core to periphery, with regularity, with smoothness. The expansion, the extension, and then the drawing in. And I'll start to just welcome in sounds, the sound of my voice, the sound in the room, the tactile sensation of the surface beneath you. Maybe any smells coming from the other room. Maybe breakfast is cooking. And I invite you now to find some movement in your body. So through the fingers, maybe the toes, wrists, ankles, even just move your head gently from side to side. And if you're ready, you can make your movements bigger, maybe just a big, long stretch from the toes to the fingers. You can draw your knees to your chest if you're on your back or on the floor. And rolling to one side. And make your way up to a seated position. And I'd like to close today with a little bit of movement. This is a breath called Robin's breath. So if you bring your hands together in front of your heart, again, kind of engage there. Take a breath in, lift tall. On your exhalation, send your arms forward as you round your spine, reaching forward. Pause at the end of that exhale. And then inhale, open your arms. Pause at the end of that inhale. Exhale, arms come forward again, palms together, rounding. And inhale, placing the hands in front of the chest. And then taking the head down to the fingertips, exhaling, softening the gaze maybe, and just taking a moment of gratitude that you brought yourself to your mat today and that you became more present and you're working towards reducing stress, becoming more resilient in everyday life. And I am so grateful for you. You can release the hands and lift the gaze. Thanks again for joining me. My name is Tonya, and this comeback yoga class is available on a YouTube channel, either uploaded later today. You can also support us by donating. We're a nonprofit organization, and I look forward to seeing you once again. Take good care. Until next time.